We have all read those books where the characters just sort of leap off the page, where they feel so lifelike that you wouldn't be surprised if they walk through your front door. As a writer, I know that you want to ensure that your characters are that lifelike, that real, that human, if that's the world you write, or if not, that they would be so real to the reader that they wouldn't be surprised if they literally walked into their life one day. Today, I'm going to share 4 ways that I use tarot cards to create a really real 3D character. Hi, my name is Jennifer Gregson. I am a tarot book coach who helps writers get through that muddy middle and create really great characters using tarot and get to the end all with a smile on their face. First, you need to create your character's persona. This is the character development portion. And like I said, I use tarot cards. I'm actually going to walk you through an example using a real card. Now, I'm using the standard Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, not because I think it's the best, but I think it's because it's the easiest to see. It's got beautiful imagery, and it is a great deck to work with. So I pulled the Empress. Now, I write YA. I'm going to stick with that genre, but your genre, why don't you immediately write down some things that you think of when you see this card? So if you write murder mysteries or some sort of romance, what's immediately your first thought? So my immediate first thought for this card in the context of YA is someone's mother. This is a very motherly card. So I do write books that deal a lot with the kid-parent dynamic. So I'm definitely going to create a mother character at some point. I have in the past, I'm going to in the future. So this is going to be somebody's mother. Now, I have a very distinct image of this person already just from looking at this card for 2 seconds, but I kind of see them as that hippie mom, the one that like compost, make sure her kids have the cool bento boxes for their lunches because she's very eco-friendly. They have water bottles that are color-coded so that everybody in the family has their own water bottles. They go camping. They, I don't know, I was kind of thinking like Phoebe from Friends as a mom, right? Showing my age. Now, if you don't want to use tarot cards or you're like, not quite sure what I'm doing, then you can also stick to those bio character sheets that are very, very popular, but just do what you do when you start creating a character. If you already have a character, you can get that sheet back out and just start from there. Look at that and make sure you know sort of the basics of who your character is, what role they play in your novel, what their character might be. We could even give them a name. I know I already gave her the name Phoebe, but because I said she was kind of like Phoebe from Friends. I'm not really loving that though. I don't know, I'm getting the name Rose. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because of the florals, although those aren't roses, but I think I'm going to stick with that. This character's name is Rose. Let me know in the comments what your character's name is. Second, you need to talk to them. This is how you create real human-like characters, especially if that's what you're going for. If you're creating aliens, I think you can still do this process. It's probably going to look a little different. But if you're creating real humans, you need to talk to them like a real human. Now, I like to do that with the tarot card. I like to ask the tarot card questions and then answer as if I am the character. But I like to have that visualization. Now, I've said this in countless videos, but I've never actually walked you through the process. So I'm actually going to open up the curtains, show you behind the scenes, show you my crazy process, and remember, I have acting training, so if I go completely nuts, that's why. So we have Rose, our hippie mom, our cool eco-friendly mom. That's all we know right now. So let's find out some more things about her. I don't really have a story, but the first question I usually ask is, hey Rose, what do you want me to know about your story? So I would look at the picture, so I'm going to turn the card in a minute, and I'm going to answer as if I was Rose. I want you to know that I'm not the villain. Okay, Rose, why do you think you're the villain? Well, my daughter seems to really hate me lately. She's always stomping away. She's slamming doors. She's making me feel like I'm the bad guy. And I need you to know that's not true. Okay? How old is your daughter, Rose? She just turned 16. Okay, it's pretty typical of 16-year-olds. Is anything going on with her? She has a new boyfriend I don't approve of. Boom! I have story details. I have so much cool stuff now to pull from my fake story here, my fake character. That is how I would do that. I usually have some predetermined questions. They can range anywhere from what do you want me to know about your story, to tell me about your childhood, to hey, what do you do for a living? Just those like sort of basics that you would ask any human that you meet in real life that you're trying to form a relationship with, that you're trying to become friends with, hint, hint. And then I sort of keep going with whatever they give me. And yes, I do sort of become the character. I didn't do it too much. But we'll see as we go forward how much I develop Rose as a character. So step 3 is become friends with them. Yep, I hinted at it. It is true. You need to do this with all of your characters, even that antagonist, even that bad guy. So if you write murder mysteries and you are writing the guy that's murdering all the women in South London, I have a thing with Jack the Ripper, sorry. But let's say, right, you still need to become friends with Jack the Ripper. I know, it's a little weird, and you're not going to be like buddy, but you need to like that character enough to write them. Even if the thing you like about them is how much you hate them or how evil they are, you need to be friends with them. Now, this is where I would usually journal as them. That's going to be a little tricky to show you, but let me see if I can give you an example. So, Rose has a diary, okay? I think Rose would actually be the kind of character that would create a diary, and I think it would be eco-friendly. So I'm going to see it's like in her Evernote on her laptop. And she keeps that diary electronic and password protected so that she can talk about the things that are bugging her during her day. So let's say she and her daughter, let's give her daughter a name. All of a sudden, my brain thought of Clara. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm watching someone right now that's rewatching Doctor Who, and that name has been thrown around a little bit. So Clara. So we have Rose and we have Clara. So Rose is writing a journal entry about the fact that she just had a big fight with Clara. I don't understand that girl. I give her everything. She has money to go where she wants with her friends. She has access to the car now that she just got her driver's license. We don't even make her pay for gas yet because she doesn't have a summer job yet. So I don't understand why she's all upset with me just because I don't like Darren. Okay? Darren seems like a loser. Darren doesn't even recycle. Okay? That's how I would do that. That's how I would do that. I usually do it on paper. Sometimes I do it in a real journal. If the character I've created is very much documenting electronically, I will do it that way. Like sometimes with teenagers, I'll sometimes do it on my phone. And I'm not really great with that, but I will do it on my phone because that is how a kid would document their life. I would even sometimes pretend that I'm doing their Instagram type captions, or I might film like a fake clock app TikTok video for them. You don't have to post these. These are for you, and you don't have to do them with an actual video. You can just pretend. But that is how I would do that, and I will do it a couple of times with each character so that I become friends with them. So I learn a little bit more about them. Finally, it's sort of putting everything together so that you can visualize them away from the tarot card. And again, if you don't use tarot cards, if you use Pinterest mood board images, if you use magazine images, I want you to get away from that and see them in your mind's eye as human. Now, I know that not everyone can do this. I know that not everyone can physically imagine someone in their mind. And if that is you, that's fine. But you need to be able to explain to someone else what they look like. So if you have a hard time physically imagining them in your brain, cool. But verbally pretend you're telling someone else about that person. I want you to be able to describe them to someone else so that if they literally walked in, that person would be like, oh, them? Okay? So if you can't visualize them, cool, but you need to be able to describe them to a T. So pick one of those two things, but it's sort of that all encompassing all of the things. You need to be able to close your eyes or tell someone else about this character and make them so real that the other person or your brain can literally see them as if they were standing in front of you. Or if they walked in, that other person would be like, oh yeah, them. You totally described them perfectly. This process helps you add depth and layers to your character so they are fully fleshed out while having more fun than just doing the character bio sheets. At least for me. If you like the character bio sheets and you're totally vibing with your characters, then keep that up. But I invite you to try at least one of these, and that's the journaling as them. I'm telling you, every time I do this, I learn something really cool about my characters, even when I'm halfway through a manuscript, which leads me to my next little tip. If you are halfway through your manuscript and you've never done this, you literally just have name, role in the book, hair color, eye color, and you don't have any of these depths, I invite you to take maybe a couple of writing sessions and do one or two of these and get to know your characters on a different level, on a more relationship-y, friendship-y sort of level. I'm not asking you to do this a lot, but I'm telling you, adding in just that one little layer of depth, even during a first draft, is going to open up a lot of things for both you and your story. So tell me in the comments below, did you go through this process with me? Did you create a character for the Empress card, even if it was just for fun? Tell me about them. And if this was helpful, then I invite you to check out my video about getting through the muddy middle so that you can actually get to the end. It'll be up in the cards or in the description box below. And I'll be doing new writing videos every week throughout the summer. So hit that subscribe button, notification bell it up, and let me know if you have any questions. I hope you have a lovely day.